When you guys get to be 67 years old, you call me and let me know how you're doing with technology then, because I promise you, you can't do worse than I'm doing right now. I mean, always do this wrong. I am so sorry.
I honestly think, Tim, this enhances the experience for us, because it's like, hey, everybody, Tim Kurkjian. And then when we can just pan right to the screen of you. For the time being, the Orioles and Yankees rivalry is a little bit back now, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's really good. And that game in 1989 that you're talking about, I covered that game for the Baltimore Sun. I was the beat writer. You guys remember? Well, you may not remember, but the 89 season was magical beyond words, because if you remember, in 88, they lost their first 21 games. And then Cal Ripken Jr. hit a home run off of Roger Clemens in the 7th inning of Game 1 of the 1989 season. I swear to God, you guys, all the beat writers, they came back and won that game. And it was like the curse was lifted. It's like everyone on the team said, we don't stink anymore. And they almost won the division that year. It was a magical season, one of the beauties of baseball, how they could be that terrible the year before and then nearly win the division the next year. And the whole tone of the season began on opening day when they knocked Roger Clemens out and beat the Red Sox, who had won the division the year before. Fascinating stuff.
I mean, it is. It's and shout out Calvin. His career turned out pretty well after that overall. Then Tim, he had a couple other moments that people remember, but you remember those little moments and the tidbits of it, and you probably also remember the brawls throughout the years. 1998, the Orioles, Yankees. I was telling people after Judge got hit the other day, look, it was unfortunate, and I don't like getting hit in the hand. It stings. You're ticked off, especially a guy like Aaron Judge, but we want to talk about a brawl or some high intensities. You want to talk about intentional, go back to Armando Benitez throwing one right in Tino Martinez's back and Darryl Strawberry throwing haymakers. I just want your opinion on, Tim, on this whole situation now. The game has changed so much, and the Yankees, I get it. We saw what happened when Aaron Judge leaves a lineup. It really does have a lasting impression on this franchise.
Right. Well, first off, I'm a pacifist. I don't like to see anybody fighting, but I am an old school baseball guy that if the other team is doing anything to disrespect you, or going after you, you have to retaliate. I learned this in 1983 when I was covering the Rangers, and the Royals and Rangers got in a terrible fight. And Doug Rader, the mischievous manager of the Rangers, told me after the game, he said, well, I was hoping we wouldn't get through the whole season without a good fight, meaning a good fight can bring a team together. Now, Earl Weaver used to tell everyone, whatever you do, don't get thrown out of a game. Whatever you do, don't get in a fight, because people are going to get suspended. Our players are better than their players, and we're going to lose on that exchange. However, every once in a while, you have to hit somebody in the middle of the back to let them know we're not putting up with this anymore. And that's what's happened here a little bit with the Orioles and the Yankees. And I'm here to say I'm all for it, as long as we're not hitting anyone in the head and you're not hitting anyone in a position where you're going to get your team in trouble.
I preach to that. And by the way, then Gunnar Henderson took one right in the bat, slammed his bat down. And by the way, Tim, the Orioles won a 1-run game last night, and maybe, just maybe, that's something that the Yankees would want back.
If you're a Yankees fan, is there any cause for concern here based off of what we saw in this series?
I don't have any concern with the Yankees, and I don't have any concerns with the Orioles other than the starting pitching injuries, which we talked about. The Yankees offense is demonstrably better than it was last year, but this is why baseball is so great. Ryan, you know this better than anyone. Luis Gil was averaging 4.4 hits per 9 innings. It was by far the greatest rate among active pitchers this year. And he gave up 8 hits in an inning and a third. This cannot, he was the hardest starting pitcher to hit in the big leagues, and the Orioles clobbered him today. Now, if I'm a Yankee fan, am I worried about this? Oh my goodness, he's hit a wall. His great rookie season is going to go all the way downhill. No, I'm not worried about that. The Yankees pitching is way better than it was at any point at the end of last year. And now they've got Garrett Cole back. But again, the Orioles and the Yankees are the two best teams in the American League. I'm not sure there's a close third, even though the Guardians have been great. They're gonna play for the division title, and they're both going to win 100 games this year. That's how good both of those teams are. I just don't see a major drop off by either team.